Well, and for what to expect from Thursday's APC's NEC meeting, where Mr. Gandu J's successor may likely emerge, I am joined by Ajibola Basiru, the APC National Secretary. Thank you so much for joining us on the news. Are you Basiru or Basiru? I've heard different pronunciations.
I'm from Osun State, Osogbo, Basiru.
Basiru, I thought as much. Thank you so much for joining us on the news tonight. So, a good place to start is we are counting hours to your NEC. There are reports of what your agenda should be. But since we have you here, are we likely to see Mr. Gandu J's replacement emerge tomorrow?
Of course, it's part of the reason why the NEC has been called is to see possible replacement of our former national chairman, Dr. DrAbdu Gandu J. So one of the agenda of the meeting is nomination and election of a substantive chairman to replace the everyday past chairman of our party. And of course, that's not the only business of the NEC. The NEC will also be taking the annual report from the National Secretary of the party. Article 14 of our Constitution mandated the National Secretary to report to NEC of the annual reports of the party. And of course, there will also be issue of a possible constitution of standing committees of our party, and to also look at some other very important and germane issue on our party, to our party at the NEC meeting tomorrow.
Fantastic. So can you tell us if your party has reached a consensus, particularly on zoning, amid the calls for it to return, for the chairmanship position to return to the North Central?
I don't know why this issue about national chairmanship returning to a particular zone becomes to the front burner of our discussion. At the last, the NEC meeting on August 3rd, 2023, there was a resolution by the NEC to take the national chairmanship to Northwest, and it was after that resolution had been taken that Dr. Abdullahi Gandu J was elected as chairman from Northwest. So we have not done anything in breach of the extant zoning formula as agreed by the NEC. Meanwhile, NEC is the second most powerful body of the APC under our constitution, second only to the National Convention. It was also at that NEC meeting that it was resolved that the National Legal Advisor should go to the North Central. So the election of Dr. Abdullahi Gandu J was actually in line with the agreed zoning formula as adopted at an appropriate organ of the party that has the power to be. So it well may be that if the national chairmanship will go to another zone, there will be a resolution to take the national chairmanship to another zone. So we don't do anything against our party's constitution as far as the APC is concerned.
Well, the question was not if you've done something wrong. The question is it likely to return to the North Central before Dr. Gandu J's election? You recall, of course, you are the party person here. It was from the North Central, and there have been clamors for it to return there. That was the question. Of
course, there will always be clamor for every zone to have the chairmanship of the party. Of course, the only zone that will not be able to do that clamoring will be any of the three zones from the south. The fact being that the president and the commander-in-chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is presently from the southern zone. So any of the three zones,
so it's
may want to clamor for it. But as at now, based on the resolution of 3rd August 2023, the chairmanship is still zoned to the northwest. So if the party leadership, based on what could happen between now and 2 p.m. tomorrow, decide to take the chairmanship to another zone, there will be a need for a resolution to first take it from northwest to any of the other zone, possibly north central, then before we now be able to take a nomination for somebody from that zone to emerge as national chairman of the party.
Well, we'll be watching tomorrow. But are you concerned that the dust raised by the resignation of Dr. Gandu J has not yet settled? There are those who say, given what the reasons for his resignation as health grounds were given, few days after he was appointed to a different role by the president. So they're not buying that, it was health grounds. And a group known as the All Progressive Stakeholders Forum has written an open letter to President Tinubu urging him not to tamper with current National Working Committee as it is set up in your party. What do you say to all of those concerns?
I think first and foremost, we must correct the impression that the president appointed Dr. Umaru Gandu J to another position just few days after he resigned from the chairmanship of our party. The appointment was made in January.
But it was only announced a few days after.
It was not announced. It was see the problem we have this one is that people don't keep abreast of development. The appointment of Dr. Umaru Gandu J was done on the same day as I was appointed as the chairman of the National Sugar Development Council in January, and all other members of the National Working Committee were also given chairmanship position of board. But some boards had statutory members, some had members that had to be composed from all other agencies. So what happened was that the former inauguration of the board of FAN that Dr. Umaru Gandu J is the chairman was only completed after he had exited as chairmanship. So it may well be that possibly he wouldn't want to cope with the adult job of handling the chairmanship of the party and then chairmanship of that very important agency of government, aviation, and that may be the why he exited. And I don't see any doors being raised about the exit of the former chairman of the party.
What about the concerns by this group? They are seen as an integral part of your party, the Stakeholders Forum, who say the president should leave. They are urging him to leave the National Working Committee as it stands. They want that, in their words, could trigger a crisis within your party and give the opposition, a leeway. I
don't think this is necessary to. Their concern is not necessary, because as far as I'm concerned, there's nobody thinking about the solution of the National Working Committee. The terminal date for the present National Working Committee is March 25 or 26, 2026. And the processes to set in motion for the emergence of new leadership will be part of what will be taken at NEC tomorrow. So we are going to consider table before the NEC for resolution to start world congresses, local government congresses, state congress, and eventual convention by March next year. So I don't see any basis for us to be going into issue of whether the NWC need to be dissolved. Why will NWC dissolve just few months to the terminal end of its constitutionally stipulated timeline, when the NWC also have a role to play in midwifing the emergence of new leadership at the world level, local government level, and the state level? It may well be that they were just apprehensive, but there is really no factual basis for that apprehension. So what we are looking at is possible replacement of the national chairman who exited based on resignation, and then set processes for the emergence of new leadership of our party from the grassroots, which is the word and very important segment for any political party.
Let's talk party politics. We've seen the likes of former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babache Lawa, recently say that the APC is leaking and that some of your governors are planning to work against your party's interests. Are you worried? Is your party together in one piece?
The talking about BD Lawal, that's why I call him,
okay.
He did not actually work for our party in the 2023 election, because according to him, we ought not to have adopted the ticket of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima. So for somebody who did not work for our party in 2023 and yet we still emerge victorious, I don't think we should be wasting our breath about whatever he has. And for him to talk about a party that won the 2023 election, a party that now has a very comfortable majority in the National Assembly. Today, I was at the National Assembly plenary, where I was there to receive 4 senators at the Senate plenary, and also 4 members at the House of Rep plenaries. Today, we are just 3 members short of 2/3 majority in the Senate of the National Assembly. So for somebody to talk is cheap. For anybody to say a party that has 23, 24 governors, 70 members in the National Assembly, and close to 300 members in the 360 rep chamber is leaking, I don't know what is definition of leakage. What I know is that some people who felt that it is their birthright to be part of every government felt that they can gang up against the leadership of our party and the reform effort of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Of course, democracy is about heterogeneity of ideas, is about people having diverse ideas and policies and seeking to take over power. So they are welcome to the race and welcome to power concentration to of our political party. But they must speak the truth. The party that has the necessary cohesion, the necessary virile and the necessary vigor to continue to win election in Nigeria is the All Progressive Congress. You
sound very confident, but then there's the emerging coalition. They've been talking tough. The PDP say they are not dying. But, you know, talking about your jubilation today for defecting senators, are you not concerned about the legality of it? The PDP says their crises are resolved, so it is not a basis for defection, and the legality of that may be questioned.
You see, there is difference between politics and legality. And incidentally, and the risk of sounding immodest, I have a PhD in law, I've been an attorney general. There's always room for legal contestation. But the truth is that if I defected and a few hours later, you are saying that you don't have crisis, it means that you had crisis and you are trying to put your house in order. So whether there are legal basis for those who have defected, not to have defected, and Constitution of Nigeria recognize that you can defect when there is issue of faction, when there is crisis within your political party. The truth is that for even the presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party to leave the party on the ground that the party is no longer in order, and also the vice presidential candidate, Senator Okowa, had actually earlier left for the APC, show that there's something wrong. Then coalition, you mentioned coalition. Coalition is a strange term in the presidential system of government. Maybe you should ask those people who are talking coalition to get a book by J.B. Olawale. It's a book that I read when I was doing government in Form 3.
Well, was it a coalition that brought the APC to
being? It's a merger. There's a difference between merger of a political party, which is recognized in the electoral
but it's
law.
an existing political party, the ADC. Mr. Ajibola Basiru, thank you so much for being here. He's the APC National Secretary. Tomorrow is the NEC meeting of the party. We'll be watching to see the outcome.